Anyone want to do the introduction?
Uh,
The recap?
Braden, do you wanna?
Go on, Braden.
I can do it if you don't want.
Definitely can remember what happened.
Right.
Otherwise,
Okay. So.
excited again. I remember being excited. That was it.
Basically, what
You read-
happened last session was so we were reading books down in the library in the Temple of Balance, and kind of due to the fallout of the session prior, where we may or may not have accidentally aided in the destruction of one of the halls of the temple. There was a large presence of civilian activity and knights that were trying to quell them, and they've seen us come out and aiding in the kind of unrest of the civilians were certain individuals kind of feeding into the rumour mill, at which point a captain, she came up to us to try and arrest us, and instead of going quietly into the night, we kind of just decided, fuck that. I teleported onto the roof with the aid of Dan's LDB's axe. LDB picked up High Priest Vescar and fucking booked it, and then Piggly, not Piggly, taking the road less travelled, just kind of went, what the fuck are these guys doing, and teleported behind the crowd.
He made it look good.
Then
we did not.
Once I was on the roof, I shot an arrow towards the direction Piggly was headed and just kind of waited for him, while waiting for Piggly to cross the grassy knoll. As such, I saw a bunch of guards chasing LDB as LDB squashed and paralysed a nameless guard.
Possibly killed. We don't know.
So, dude's definitely got a fucking med pension. And then Vesker and LDB made their way out of the city limits by way of a lovely man named Silas, the human smuggler / trafficker. And myself and Piggly Not Piggly were about to go speak to Carlin, and I was going to make some lovely introductions between Carlin and Piggly Not Piggly.
PigglyNotPiggly.com.
Piggly Not Piggly.
Special shop. Special
that
shop.
is where we left off.
For special people.
Is it this? Nope, definitely not that one.
Boom,
It's
boom,
this one.
boom, boom.
There we go. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're picking up from. Yeah, the last point where you guys left off, you just entered into the entranceway of the mystical reliquary. The actual doorway, instead of stepping through a threshold, you sort of opened the door, and as you were entering in, it was just darkness, blackness everywhere. And then slowly, some shapes started to emerge. At the other end, you saw two gleaming eyes, and then a pair of hands raise up as lights were sort of ignited on the walls. The actual inside of the reliquary this time was a lot different to the way that you've seen it before, Fiscal. Now, instead of usual sort of bookshelves and random trinkets on the walls, there is instead now huge statues that sort of sat on seats looming over, very thin, very stoic, just repeating one after another, going into, like, basically funneling into a single point where you gather Carlin is. As he's stood there, what do you guys do? It seems like Carlin's waiting with his hands outstretched, basically lighting the area, puts his hands down slightly, and he starts to descend slowly towards you. There's a little bit of an uncertain kind of feeling when you're in this environment. It's not quite as the same as what it was before the last time you were here. It looks like things are a little bit different. and the feeling as well is a bit different. Whether that's because, like Callan had mentioned to you before, it needs like an anchor somewhere to lock onto in order to actually apparate in here. It might be that the residual energy in Demetrial is causing this to change. Could be its current occupants that are causing it to change. Who knows? But Colin sort of he walks up to you, and yeah, he just sort of gestures his hand as if he's going to say something, and then kind of just turns his head slightly towards Pigley.
I'm just gonna kind of go, Colin. It's so good to see you. I feel like it's been ages. This is my good friend Pigley. Pigley, Colin, Pigley.
Hello.
His eyes kind of. Yeah, his eyes kind of narrow in on you a little bit more. He's starting. He's looking at you with kind of like a look of apprehension. You are feeling at the moment, Pigley, a sense of extreme unease here. You can feel your sort of residual power kind of just fading ever so slowly, and the whispers in the back of your head are starting to grow a little bit louder as you're sort of hearing them saying that this is someone you should not be next to. Fiscal, you notice as these two sort of lock eyes that the sides, like there's random candles and stuff that are lit on the sides, and they seem to sort of shake. One or two are sort of violently sort of shaking on the spot, and then nothing seems to be happening as such. And Galen finally sort of breaks the silence, and he says, "Fiscal, why have you come?"
Honestly, I was just gonna give you a quick call through the whistle, but I'm surprised to see you here. How did you find an anchor? I know you're having some trouble with that.
I did not intend to. There is something in this city that seems to be growing in strength as of recent, enough for me to seek out an anchor. Do you have something for me?
Yeah. So I found this in the library of the Temple of Balance. I believe it was yours, but it's got some sort of arcane lock that none of us really knew how to open. So I was wondering if maybe you could lend a hand, as the author. And I'll go to pull the scroll out of my satchel.
As you pull it out of your satchel, you can see the surface of it is sort of faintly glowing, and it's got like crossed patterns. What was the word that I used last time? Concentric. Yeah, there's like concentric circles over it. Some of them silver glowing, some of them are quite dark. As you pull it out and you begin to hand it over, the scroll seems to kind of hum or sort of twitch slightly in Carlin's presence, and you can start hearing slight whispers as if there's something speaking through the scroll. And as you go to sort of hand it out, it just sort of flies out of your hand towards Callan as he, with one hand, just sort of holds it in place and then just touches it with a finger. And then looks like there's like a little ripple effect around the scroll as it starts to unravel. He's reading the scroll, and his expression kind of starts to shift a little bit. This, it seems like, for as confusing as it is for you guys in here, is also confusing for him. And as he's reading through the scroll, you see his eyes sort of flicker, and they start to dim and then brighten, dim, brighten, as he's trying to take in what the contents of the scroll is. And he throws, well, he doesn't throw it, he sort of moves the scroll back towards you. I just pressed the wrong button on the screen. Whoops. Okay, so with the scroll, it's now sort of unlocked and in your possession. Reading it, you can see is basically the actual contents of the scroll seem to hint at Carlin having some kind of hand in either discovering, creating, or perfecting essentially spatial magic. So teleportation, bags of holding, that kind of thing. Anywhere that's involving dimensional travel, it seems like he was the first one to stumble onto the, should we say, mortal use of this. But for the audio listeners, does anyone want to read this, or shall I?
I'll let you read it.
Fair enough. Okay. So, the scroll's contents say on the front, on the nature of the void strands, a treatise on the infinite and the ephemeral by Colin Seeker, scholar of the boundless tapestry. There exists, beyond the veil of mortal understanding, a lattice woven not of threads, but of absence, the void strands. These strands, intangible and unyielding, connect the myriad facets of existence, realms, timelines, and possibilities. It is through their manipulation that one may traverse not merely space but time itself, bending the fabric of reality to their will. Void stranding, as I have termed this discipline, is the delicate art of harnessing the latent energy within these strands. It requires a mind both resolute and unyielding, for the void strands resist comprehension. To command them is to balance upon the edge of madness, to risk one's very essence unraveling within the boundless expanse. Through void stranding, one may achieve feats thought impossible: instantaneous travel, the manipulation of temporal flows, and the tethering of existence itself. Yet this power comes at a cost. The void demands sacrifice, a fragment of one's own soul to weave the strands anew. In this, we find the crux of the void strands' nature. They are not merely conduits of power, but reflection of the wielder's own will. To master them is to master one's self, for the void offers no mercy to those unworthy of its secrets. My work is incomplete. The lattice remains vast, and its secrets countless. Yet I am drawn forward and compelled to seek what lies at the heart of the void. Should this document survive, let it stand as a testament to my endeavor and a warning to those who would follow. Yeah, that's what the scroll seems to sort of have on there. Exactly the nature of these findings, you're not quite sure. It seems like it's a bit of a research paper outlining almost like an introduction. But as Colin's reading it, when he speaks, it sounds like there's a bit more resonance to his voice, and it seems like this area is finally gaining substance, and there's echoes basically from his voice. He says, "So, it is I who dared to bind the unbindable, to thread the void's strands and call it knowledge. I see now the burden that I sought to cast away. The lattice is vast, its truth's infinite, and its price heavy." He kind of sort of leans back slightly and puts a hand sort of on his chin while he's speaking, and goes, "Why? Why did I turn my back upon such power? What madness compelled me to abandon all I had wrought? The answers remain shrouded, but this," and he hints towards the scroll, "this is a step closer. My thanks to you, Fiscal. You are not merely a seeker of shadows, but a herald of revelations yet to come." And he raises a hand, and you watch as the reliquary starts to shift around you, as slowly these forms where the huge statues start to slowly crumble in on themselves, and they start to turn a little bit more like the surroundings that you're used to in this place. So stone shelves start to get cut into the catacomb sort of area here. He kind of he's kind of sort of stood there taking it in momentarily, and he says to Fiscal, "Have you found any more of these scrolls or fragments?"
Nothing quite as direct in terms of spatial travel or anything like that. I did come to pick your brain about a couple of other things. Obviously, as you know, we've had a few run-ins with the Veiled Nexus in recent weeks, months, and we keep finding more and more little tidbits out about them. And there was something the Raven Queen said last time I spoke with her, and I know you don't like the deities or anything like that, but I figured with that in mind, you could potentially be the best person to speak to about it. The Raven Queen mentioned something, and she said to trust in the golden threads, and that sounded eerily similar to the saying, the sign-off more or less used by the Veiled Nexus, which, as I'm sure you're aware, is trust in the threads we weave. And I wanted to know if you knew if there was any similarities between, any connections, more or less.
He kind of shrinks down like he's about to sit on a chair that isn't there, and then as he falls back, he appears on a chair basically. And then he waves his hand, and you watch as things start to form in front of him. Table, more chairs, glasses, bottles, that kind of thing. And he invites you both to sort of approach and sit down at the table.
I'll pack my ass.
Do you go, Piggly?
I'm gonna stand behind Fiscal. Not quite comfortable enough to sit down.
Like
No,
a
I-
bodyguard.
Are you gonna PH fist fiscal? What the fuck? Hang on.
As they're sort of speaking, I'm gonna try and sort of like turn around and whisper to myself, asking what the problem with this guy is. See if I can get a reply from the whispers in my head.
You do feel the whispers sort of growing at the back of your mind, and they're very discordant, and they're all saying separate things, but they don't speak in words. It sort of speaks to your sort of emotional understanding. So as you're hearing these whispers, you kind of get the impression that they're telling you that this guy is a trick, an illusion, like a phantom, something that isn't really there. And they don't, and the whispers are saying that they don't want you to be here because they can't find you if you stay here.
I'm gonna stay stood behind him for a minute, just for now,
Okay.
because I'm intrigued.
Usually, you do feel like a good connection to the power that Varathan's sort of given you when you're out and about in the world. Some places it's stronger, some places it's weaker. This is one of the first places where you feel it effectively just being slowly, bit by bit, chipped away from you. As you sit down, Carlin sort of acknowledges that Piggly isn't sitting down, and then sort of puts his hand out as if to sort of offer drinks, etc. If you want some.
I'll take a glass of Salunian if you've got it, Colin.
He looks at you and goes, Salunian. Takes a second to think about it. And then again he waves his hand, and you watch as the bottle that was there slowly starts to warp and twist into a bottle of Salunian. It's there waiting for you. He goes, yes, I think I remember. Something like this. And then he sort of lets you pour your own drink. When he's thinking about your question, he kind of says to you, the Raven Queen represents a control of fate. Everything has a destiny. Everything ultimately must end. So to follow the golden threads is to follow fate, adhere to destiny. It stands to reason that the Veiled Nexus, such as they are, would seek to wind their own threads.
Okay.
It may be that they're not granted the same level of control as you are over your destiny.
So it's not necessary that they are in line with one another, they just play on similar strengths as such.
They follow similar themes. However, one represents order and control, the other represents the unknowing and chaos.
Okay.
To me, any control of fate is one in the same. Whether for order or chaos, it's the same ultimate outcome.
Cool. I also, while we were in the library at the Temple of Balance, came across a passage you wrote about the Osmit Strait. I was just wondering if you maybe had any more information on that, because it seemed slightly cryptic as such. Like,
Yes. I've found a lot of my previous works seem to have this same pattern. Speculative and vague, as if alluding to some further understanding. Perhaps this is why I cast it away. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, I can only help you decipher these things if you bring me more of them.
okay, that's understandable. Cool. I don't really have anything else as such for you. I know obviously the last few times we've met you've been quite what's the word I would use? Quite forthcoming with gifts and trade-offs and stuff. I was wondering if there was any quid pro quo that you potentially could have.
While you're speaking to Carlin like this, Pigley, you are noticing that, to you anyway, their conversation starts to become a bit more muffled, as if you're kind of losing focus on what they're saying, and your eyes are drawn to what's behind Carlin, as there seems to be some central source of power that's intangible behind where Carlin has stepped down from. And you feel slowly the whispers start to get a little bit stronger. As Carlin is about to respond to you, Fiscal, you feel immediately that the air inside here grows heavy, and Carlin just kind of leans back on his chair slightly as he's looking at Pigley. And then he looks at you, Fiscal, and he says, "Your companion, who is he?"
His name is Pigley. He's from Priesel. He's a couple of centuries old, and that's more or less what I know about him.
What is he?
Well, he was a gnome. He was a gnome, and then we were fighting down at the docks, and he got turned into a sheep, and then the sheep died, and he got cocooned, and this is what came out. He's not the same as he was, but he still seems down to the basics. This same guy.
As you're finishing that sentence, you sort of turn as if just casually to look at Pigley, and you are starting to see that there's sort of smoke, like heavy smoke, coming off him, gathering around the floor where you guys are stood, I suppose.
Just as I turn around, I'm just gonna be like, "Yo, dude, are you okay?"
I think I need to go outside for a cigarette, and I'm gonna go to turn around and start walking towards the exit.
As you turn to leave, Carlin sort of says to you, Fiscal, telepathically, something foul clings to your companion, Fiscal. A tether unholy, spun by the will of one who seeks not balance, but ruin. And as you step,
Can I get that in a
as you,
message, please?
yeah, I'll send that to you. As you step back, Piggly, instinctively you kind of clutch your chest. You may or may not remember this, but ages ago, when you first bumped into Varathan, he placed a mark on your chest, and you're looking down to see now that the sort of like dark tendrils of energy coiling around, writhing. It seems to be invisible to you, Fiscal, but Carlin is reacting to it, and the reliquary now starts to shake violently, and you watch as things start falling off shelves, and everything sort of shifting in the space, and there's a lot of dark energy now sort of swirling around Piggly. And you watch as this starts to happen. Carlin kind of grows a little bit in size as he stands, and he goes, "Your presence here cannot persist, bearer of such a taint. The vile air's touch seeks dominion, even over my domain, and this I cannot allow." And he raises a hand, and you watch as the space around Piggly begins to warp and shatter and tear, almost as if he's in a mirror or surrounded by glass, something like that. And the room starts to dim, the shadows are twisting, and suddenly, out of nowhere, Piggly, a force just kind of pulls you somewhere. You're just immediately pulled out of the space or pushed away, I suppose, from Callan's perspective. And in the area, there's kind of like a silhouette of where Piggly's body was, kind of like in a cartoon or whatever. But it's just like a silhouette of where his body was. And through that faint silhouette, for the first time, Fiscal, you can see what you assume is the visage of the thing that is giving Piggly power. And there is, to you, it appears as an amalgamation of kind of like jagged shapes and many, many eyes. And it all flickers behind as Piggly is getting dragged through. And where he once stood, all of a sudden, the space where Piggly was starts to try and expand, almost as if there's like hands grabbing the space, trying to tear it open. And you watch as Carlin starts to now raise both hands, and he goes, "Begone!" And he pushes with both of his hands, and then just like that, everything that was there where Piggly was is now no more. And there's a void of energy around you, Piggly, as you're suddenly flung backwards, hurtling in the space between where the reliquary is, where this pocket dimension is, and the door to the outside, basically. And you're tumbling now through a void that you can't possibly comprehend. You're surrounded by shifting formations of stars, clouds, and the scales that are sort of surrounding you kind of defy understanding. And you watch as stars drifting by, amorphous kind of clouds that are both large and stationary, but also moving towards you. And nothing feels quite solid, but everything's in like a chaotic sort of spin. You start falling, and as you get to the point where you feel like each part of you is being pulled in different directions, you hear Varathan's voice in your head. And as he starts to speak, everything starts to slow down around you slowly, and he goes, "Why do you flee, child of chaos? Do you not see? I am the scythe that will reap all, and you are my herald." And as he says that, you are immediately flung outwards into the streets of Demetriel, splat bang right where the reliquary door was, and you just kind of lay on your front, breathing heavy. But you feel now the connection back again with Varathan, and you feel a bit more safe out here in the streets and away from wherever it was that you were with Fiscal.
all that came to my mind there was like that scene in Thor Ragnarok where Loki just comes out the body and goes, I was falling for 30 minutes!
Yeah. That pretty much is what it is.
Light a pack of cigarettes and that was fucking stressful.
We'll cut back to inside the reliquary.
Can I
Yeah.
Can
go.
Can I sending stone?
If you want to, yeah.
I'd like ring 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 ring.
You just send the words. Hello?
Ring ring.
That's the word that comes through. Ring ring ring.
That's it. You go, is this thing on? Well, I guess not.
25 rings and that's it.
Okay, so what, is there? I can't remember how this works. Is there like a limit to what I can say?
Yeah,
Is there?
so you can only send like 25 words.
Oh, I go. Ring 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 ring
Just say I've answered it. Go on.
ring 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 ring. Those are my 4 words. Those are 4 words to start with.
Yeah.
And he goes, hi Fiscal. Hope you're getting this. Go out the gate with my priest. I'll see you soon.
Oh, wow.
LDB.
No, just because. Yeah, Fiscal, you get this message in your sending stone. It does reach you. Are you replying with anything or?
Yeah, I'll reply. I'll just say, just dealing with some stuff right now. See you with the rusty nail.
The rusty nail.
LDB gets that and goes, classic X behavior.
Okay. We'll cut back to the inside of the reliquary now. Where before things were sort of shifting and shaking, now it seems like everything's shifting back to a more peaceful, well, what you expect basically this area. And Carlin now, where he was in his form with his hands outstretched, it now sort of starts to lower them and shrinks back down to regular sort of size. And he says, your companion bears a dangerous curse, a tether to Varathan himself. The vile air is no mere myth, Fiscal. If texts are to be believed, he is the harbinger of ruin, and through your friend, he seeks a foothold in this world. I'll warn you now, Fiscal. Keep wary eyes upon him. If Varathan's grasp tightens, you may not face merely a foe, but the end of all that you hold dear.
If that were come to pass, I could count on you for some assistance, though, right?
Much of my power is limited to the space that you see here, and he gestures around. I'm uncertain why, but I can't leave the bounds of this space. But within this space, I can offer you the utmost protection.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so. Cool. So that was a bit excessive, no? You couldn't have just kicked him out the door?
I did. What you saw there was the force necessary to banish not only your friend, but that which clings to him.
Yeah, that whole hands coming through thing, was that Varathan then, I take it?
It was an aspect of Varathan seeking to control this domain.
Cool. That's a bit fucked.
It's more powerful and more dangerous than you may yet understand.
Yeah, I'll be sure to keep an eye on it. Yeah.
He sort of sits back as you say that, and he goes, "Well, Fiscal, onto more important matters. Path forward grows darker, but you are not without tools to light your way." And he sort of gestures outward, and he brings forward a ring to you. It looks like quite a simple ring, but you watch as Varathan holds the ring in his hand, and he goes, "This may help you in many other endeavors." And he gestures his hand up, and a divider seems to come up between you and and Carlin, and you don't see what happens, but all of a sudden, a little hole, kind of like what happens in Doctor Strange. You just watch a little spin.
Oh, this guy
and
plays
then
too much Rebel Rebels, bro.
You watch as you see the portal spin, and you're looking through the divider basically, and then Carlin, whatever happens, the hole's gone, the divider comes back down, and he hands the ring to you, and in your hand doesn't feel particularly different. There are kind of circular patterns all over the ring, etchings into it. Doesn't require attunement.
God. That was my one big thing. I'm maxed out on attunements. I'm maxed out, so I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
I thought about making it attunement, but I thought, nah, never mind. And you watch as he says, "With this ring, it is imbued with that which travels between. Simply place it on a wall. Speak its command phrase. Persist." And then he raises the divider and then waits for you to do it.
Persist.
You place the ring on the little divider wall, and then as you say persist, you watch as the ring expands from a finger size to probably about that size,
Okay.
and then you can see straight through.
Oh, that's fucking cool, dog.
So it's like one of the
Yeah.
rings from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Is it?
No,
Yeah, I missed everything. What do you say?
no. So let me get this straight. So you put it on like a wall, for instance. Say persist, and you can see through that wall.
Not only
Oh, so it's a portable glory hole.
Yeah, basically.
That's
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
That's what I was. My immediate thought was, my cock's going through that.
not only can you see through it, but with the passcode basically persist, you can also put your hand through it.
We're gonna steal so much
Oh,
shit.
that's
We're gonna steal so much shit.
Yes.
See that back right there? Persist. Oh, what? Who said that?
Fun.
It's like you see him just like, what's going on? We're just me and Pig like that, just like hold around like.
Now I did think that you guys would have that exact reaction, so there are some rules around that. But it is,
Rule number one:
is
you
pretty-
can't put your phallus through it. All right.
I'll again, please. But
I'm immediately going to ask a question here.
yeah, go on.
So obviously it's a ring, so I'll just like when I'm not using it, I'll wear it on my finger.
Yeah.
So what if I were to accidentally say the word persist while it's on my finger?
It only works when it's in contact with a solid surface.
Cool. Fingers are solid.
Oh my. Can you do it? Can you use it in
How deep
combat?
is
Just
the
persist
finger?
through someone and
like
fucking.
pressed against a solid
Right.
surface.
Okay. Cool.
What did you say, Dan?
Can you use it in combat and just do crazy shit?
Rip someone's heart out with it.
Literally persist.
Oh,
Ha ha! Like stab him in the back of the head, you know, like
Great
fucking
fist
through
bump.
him, like what? Imagine that. Then you'd be like, oh, okay, GG's. Like,
I mean, they might not just let you do that. If you can first paralyze them and then activate it and then stab them, yeah, sure, why not?
nah, fuck that shit. Persist. Hey!
Why did I leave this?
I got him good.
Cast
that guy,
hideous laughter. I'll cast hideous laughter, and you can just get them while they're laughing on.
that guy literally did not see that coming.
Oh dear, I forgot what I named it.
Ring of persist.
Gollum's ring.
The precious.
Gollum's ring.
The precious. Yeah, no. And bro, Brayden, you do that on the 15th as well?
Okay. Let me.
Brayden at the Swingers Club. Hey guys, can I do my Gandalf impression? Anyone?
You don't want me to rap to light the mood.
Enter this room with me, you will.
Literally. Hey guys, can I do my Gandalf impression? Who's gonna get hard? Anyone?
Oh man. Let's
Who wants to take me
Okay.
to the back room? Who wants to take me to the back room? Just me.
Yo,
Come on.
I
Out of the
fucking
impressions.
love Carlin, man. He's so goated. Like every time
Yeah,
I
he
see him,
comes
I
through-
get something.
I don't
new.
even know who he is, bro. I never even met the guy. Hey.
You know
I
what's
Hopefully,
didn't have
crazy?
a very good experience with him. I hate this cunt.
Bro,
Arafat needs to up his game. Why is fucking Fiscal getting all this OP shit?
Bro, Fiscal brought him stuff, man. That's all I'm saying.
Fucking Barafan saying, "Oh, why are you fucking retreating?" Well, give me some shit then. Fucking.
Brain session. I hate this cunt.
Give
Perfect.
me some good stuff. I got fuck all you cunt.
I have a feeling next time he sees you, he's gonna go, no. He's gonna push him out the door again.
No.
you
There's
never
the door,
know.
bitch.
LDB, if I bring you to him, like, he might give you some decent shit.
Wow.
I'm gonna lay my balls on the table and go, make him
Arafat's
jewels.
a cunt.
Wait, to be
Arafat's-
fair, it depends on how he feels
I mean,
about
he's not a
Serta.
good guy.
Yeah, no, Bez has just brought up a very good point. You go, Varathan's a cunt. He's just been called the harbinger of ruin. Like, what you
And
expected?
You're getting all the OP shit.
What you
As long as he's
expected a
ruining me, bro.
Christmas
As
present.
long as he's ruining me, I'm cool with that.
I get the Dolan and I crush it. Fuck Varathan.
Can I give Carlin the aphrodisiac horn gem and get some great shit in return?
It's
You
just
could
a-
give
Forgot
him
about that.
what you think.
I
is the
completely
gem,
forgot
Let's just say it's been in my ass the whole time, okay?
That's a different kind of ring that opens, I think.
Bro, persist this.
You've got a
That's what
thrust
the ring
it.
actually does.
Where have you put it? Session.
In the session bits thing.
Ooh, do we get to read
I
it
do
too?
have the item somewhere, I just can't find it yet to add it to your inventory.
Void aperture.
What's
Once
that, long
per
rest?
long
Oh,
rest, as an action, you can place the ring against a solid surface no more than 3 feet thick. Upon activation, the ring creates a silent magical aperture the size of the band, roughly 6 inches in diameter, that
That's big
passes
as-
completely through the surface. The hole lasts for 1 minute or until you dismiss it as a bonus action. This hole allows you to peer through, reach through, or retrieve items on the other side. The surface appears seamless again once the hole closes, leaving no evidence of tampering. If used on a surface that is part of a magical barrier or ward, you must succeed on a DC 15 Arcana check to bypass the enchantment. On a failure, the ring remains inactive and the use is not expended. Okay.
Just one
you-
charge.
E15.
If you don't pull out in that minute,
Cannon.
Yeah.
is that gone? Is that just
That's
like you
gone.
lose your arm? For example, your arm's in there, just gone. Like,
Yep.
yeah, not a glory hole anymore. Okay, I ain't risking that shit.
You're a Goliath. You couldn't fit your cock through a fucking 6-inch hole.
No, it's good. It's not a point now, right?
He's right. He's right.
No, I don't need to be a glove for that.
Classic.
I am as girthy as I'm a bride. Okay.
Nah, Callan's a fucking goat, man.
That's a pretty cool item.
He can fuck off.
It's a great item.
Got me in trouble with Varathan.
He has
Yeah.
trouble with all the gods, don't worry. Don't take it personally.
He does. Yeah. I
I
mean,
was going to ask him what he knows about Varathan, but fuck him.
Fuck him.
hey man, you got to have some words with Varathan. See
Oh,
what he's. What
You
he's
just made
saying.
Piggly super evil. Like he was evil, but now he's like, I'm killing everyone. Everyone's dead.
EBEG is coming.
I'm not gonna tell Piggly or LDB about this ring until I just randomly pull it out in about 15 sessions.
What, that ring you're going to be wearing on your finger? That one, yeah.
Yeah. Under
What's
my
that obvious ring right
glove.
there? Hang on, what's that ring
Under
right
my
there?
glove, may I add. Under my glove.
Oh, I fucking love that. What, the obvious ring on your
Under my
finger?
glove. It's under my
Holy
glove.
shit.
That was funny. That was funny.
Okay.
This game.
So yeah, he hands you the ring and he says, "You may find this useful, or it may not find its use for some time, but it seems to be powered with the Void Strand."
Oh.
Cool.
I was going to say something else, but then I just completely left my brain.
I can see that by the expression on your face.
I froze up in real time. Edit that out, please. Edit that out.
Nope, keeping it in.
Don't make me look stupid, please, please!
And then he also says, the items which you carry and he gestures towards you as you've got random things just sort of strapped to you and your satchel as well. He says, "It's a bit rustic to carry these things with you. Hand me your satchel."
Sure.
Oh, what's happening now,
I
mate?
hand him the satchel.
When you hand it to him, it doesn't quite touch his hand. It just sort of floats on his hand, and you watch as he puts both hands above it. Can I get it on the camera? Like that?
One above, one
And-
below.
Oh yeah, one
Does
above,
a
one below.
Kamehameha and just blasts up.
Yeah, just throws them
Just
on the
fucking-
guy.
Just annihilates it. Everything is just disintegrates.
I'm just why?
Bro, what the fuck? That wasn't worth the ring. Like...
Marlin, fuck you. Yeah, you watch as it starts to spin, and as it spins, it's pulling in random bits of magic from like the surrounding areas. Like it's just things seem to go, like sort of fly onto it. The bag itself doesn't seem to change sort of visual aspects or anything like that, but you do watch as the bag that was previously bulging because it was full starts to slowly shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink. And you see that he hands the bag back to you, and it's much lighter now.
I'm just gonna start putting all the like random shit that I've got attached to me. Like, I'm gonna start taking it off, put it on the desk, and I'm gonna go, "Did you just get rid of all my shit?" And then I'm gonna go to open the bag.
You open the bag, and there is just it's just darkness with a faint glow at the bottom. And he sort of he looks at you and he says,
Before he says anything, I'm just gonna stick my hand in there.
Stick your
okay.
dick in.
It's just like,
Fuck it.
it's like put your hand into an area that feels a bit cold.
Can I feel around, see if there's anything in there?
Oh yeah.
What do you want?
Dude, just fucking.
I'm
Harry
just
Potter tended
gonna,
your bag,
off
bro.
the top of my head, go with the Veiled Nexus book that he gave us fucking ages ago.
Oh yeah. As you think that, you feel it while your hand is in the bag, in your hand, and then you pull out the book. There it is.
Oh.
Ta-da!
I'm gonna go put that back in, and then I'm gonna think of my thieves' tools.
Yeah. You watch as you put your hand into the satchel, and then you pull it out. The actual brim of the satchel itself starts to expand with the size of the tools, and then shrink back to its regular size.
Cool.
Thieves' tools are in your hand.
Bro, I need to be Colin fucking nice.
I'm gonna put it back in and like start just shoving all the fucking shit that I had clipped onto us that I don't like consistently use. I'm gonna go, Colin, you are the best, man, I swear.
As you say that and you're putting stuff in there, you watch as he waves another hand, and then one of the compartments in this reliquary just starts to open up, and almost like when you see like in like assassin movies and they hit this button and then a wall flips and there's all their like weapons
Yeah.
separated on the board. He does that, and you watch as you put in the items in, they just seem to appear and hold in place in this section all the items that are in your bag.
Cool.
Yeah. Effectively, what he's giving you is a specialized kind of bag of holding. So
Awesome.
any item, as long as it's not ridiculously large, like LDB's head, would fit in the satchel.
Which one?
And then
Okay.
you really are LDB, bro. Yeah, any item that goes in there would appear within this area. So the items would be safe here.
Cool. Just curious. What would happen if I tried to put a person in here?
I would not allow it.
What if it was a dead person?
He kind of looks at you as if the same answer.
Okay,
Even
wait.
worse,
You
okay.
you-
Yeah.
asked and answered.
Hold my army of undead.
No, because he won't let
That would
me.
be cool.
Nah, your mate.
Yeah, that's what you do. You grab it in there. As you okay, I just seen the message. Okay. Yeah. He kind of he says to you that I can help store your items, but remember that this is my home, and it is my choice what is stored in here.
I've got one more question regarding people in the bag.
Really?
Okay. just one more.
They've not been answered yet, so let me just.
So, say I wanted to come and see you rather quickly. Could I just climb into the bag?
If you were to try and climb into the bag, not that I would allow it. If you were, it would be a most painful transition from the material into the reliquary, more so into the compartment that holds your items.
So I kind of put... Okay, no, fair enough. Alright, I get it. No people in the bag. Got ya. Even if they're bad guys, and I would want to hurt them.
Especially if they are bad guys.
Okay, cool. Got ya. Okay, well, thank you again.
Yeah, he sits back, and as you guys are talking, he watches the Saloonian starts to sort of levitate and then pour into a cup as it comes up to his hand, and he takes a sip and he goes. Bearing in mind, this whole time you've not been able to see his face or anything, but he takes a sip and you kind of hear him tasting it, and he goes, "Not quite what I remember." Anyway, if you find any more of those fragments, anything by K Seeker, bring them to me. I'm sure I could find suitable rewards.
Well, now I've got this beauty of a bag, don't you worry. We're going to be hunting down all the collectibles and you'll have them sharpish.
He says that he also looks at you, gives you a nod, and he goes, "I'm also working on somewhat of a network for this spatial transfer, shall we say. And it may help the people of Varlin, but I need items for it. As you know, I'm stranded here."
What do you need?
All I can think is Carlin going, "If you think you're living in the shop without sucking my cock, you're dead wrong."
I'll take this
As you
one.
know, I kind of get the female attention in here.
Fiscal
No
uses
bad-
the
no
ring on the
bad
back
guys.
side of the desk. His cock appears to slide through the hole.
As he says, persist.
You may persist.
Oh,
Holy shit.
boy.
Oh,
Why does this
fuck.
always end up happening, man? Calvin's like a straight up dude.
Session you decided to write. I'm gonna give Fiscal a ring, and then you know what? I'm gonna give him more shit because that's what he needs. More fucking OP shit.
Well, this kinda, this
I'm giving him shit.
Brady gets so salty about this shit, man.
Like, get fuck all.
Because
It's
you're
what
going
Oh my god, an item was my fucking malediction, and that was fucking ages ago.
that was ages ago. Yeah.
Also, that malediction wasn't even from Varathan.
It was it was from some random guy.
It was from that fucking black ghoul in the forest of Varlin.
The Black Ghoul!
The Dragonborn, yeah. Well, I mean, to put it, I'll paint you the picture this way. From Carlin's perspective, he's seen Fiscal. No, he's sort of kept an eye on him for a little bit, and then invited him in. Immediately, Fiscal's already accomplished task number 1 and got him that egg. And then
Cheers, boys.
yeah, that as well, yeah. And so he's given him an item from there. And then since then, he's basically trying to protect his investment because he can only impart so much power to people. He's given some to Kitch. We don't know how much yet. And he's given a lot, basically, to Fiscal. But that's because Fiscal is paying dividends here. It's giving him stuff. From Varathan's perspective...
one-to-one chat with Varathan, a little cunt. He's not even giving me any tasks, a little rat bastard.
He has given you
powers every now and then.
he's given you an artifact from his time,
which killed me and brought me back to life and turned me into a sheep.
It brought you back to life, though. That's the main thing.
He gave me a gambling tool. That's what he fucking did.
Can you ask for much more? Probably, actually. Yeah, you can. But yeah, I mean, the difference is that it's a difference of how these two view people. So Carlin is looking at people to to help to elevate them, and in return, he's given them reward for doing that. For Varathan, he doesn't give a shit. He's empowering people, but ultimately, if one of them dies, he's just going to move on to the next person. There's nothing lost for him there. Like that dragon. Okay, that was a bit of a spoiler, actually. Never mind. I won't say that. But all I'll say is that initially, Varathan asked you to destroy the thing in the temple, which eventually you managed to do. In Varlin, and then in number 2, he asked you to seek out the temples in Demetriel, and no progress has been made yet on that.
I don't even remember being asked that.
I remember you being asked that.
Mm-hmm. This is why we take notes, boys and girls. For the audio listeners, write this down on a piece of paper right near you. Take some notes. That's pretty much it for this sort of section. And you watch as he's just basically sipping on the saloon, and he says, "Should you find more documentation, bring it to me. I'll see what I can do about aiding you. Your friend, keep a close eye on him."
Yeah. You said something about you were trying to build something or something and you needed items.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, the DM distracted me. What happened? He basically just does like a little bit of a holographic projection, but by arcane means. And he says that I intend to set up a network of deployable storage, effectively. On one end, you put a sigil. It will open up to the other end across great distances.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, a hunter of Varlin completes his task and needs to get the item back home. Place the sigil, item goes. Could have fairly strong implications for the trade for Varlin, and they'll need it to rebuild.
Yeah. Cool. What do you need?
There are some special crystals that form on the inside of caves that have been exposed to strong magics. You'll know it when you see it, but they've not as yet been found in the continent of Anoria.
Okay.
So I can't give you any help to where they might be. Just seek places under the earth in high concentration of arcane energy.
Crystals in caves.
Sounds like my birthplace.
Sounds like your birthday.
My birthplace.
Oh, okay.
Man, it sounds like the Skyridge Mountains.
That sounds like Pre-Hill. Sounds
Okay.
like the ruins of Morthal.
If you think you are leaving this shop,
You wanted that
That's
thing in
fucking
text,
got-
well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So other than the crystals, is there anything else?
Just that for now.
Okay.
If you do need aid in combat, please remember that our mutual friend will come to your call.
Hootie, yes, I remember. I do forget every now and then, but yes, I remember.
Wait, was that his name?
No, that's what I named it.
Oh, you named it. Okay, I was gonna say I don't remember calling him that. What the fuck? He sort of nods at you. He's like, "You may stay here a while if you wish."
No, we've got to get to the other side of the wall. We're presently sort of fugitives from the Knights of Demetriel. Whoops. So, LDB and High Priest Veskar are currently waiting for us at the Rusty Nail.
Very well. I won't keep you. Good luck and stay safe.
I go put out my hand to shake Carlin's hand.
He doesn't shake your hand. Instead, he just sort of gives you a slow nod.
I just go, and start making my way towards the exit.
Such a big fuck you.
You enter. Yeah, you exit out of the door, and as you exit, you immediately see Piggly go.
Piggy's not there. Piggy isn't there
No,
anymore.
so the way Carlin, the way Mr. Mystical Reliquary works is it's like its own like pocket in time. So as I've walked out, you've just landed from fucking getting booted out.
You know, fucking Bill and Ted when they're just falling. It's like that, isn't it? Where they're like, "Whoa, man, we've been falling for a fucking while now. Like, what the fuck, bro? How long have you been falling for?" Like,
Oh fuck. Yeah, you
literally picks like that. Fuck's sake! Come on, man. I'm getting bored now.
Yeah, you've fallen. You've hit in the floor, and there you've sort of turned over and seen Fiscal just step out of the wall, basically.
I'm just gonna like go to help him up and go, "Yo, you okay?"
I've been falling for 30 minutes!
Yeah, sorry about that. Turns out that Varathan really shouldn't be in that place, which is apparently a very bad thing.
How much longer were you in there when I fell?
Oh, dude, it's been like half an hour.
Fuck happened?
We were just chatting, having a few drinks, catching up. He did something to my bag, so I've got more storage now. But he says, "Don't put people in there; he wouldn't appreciate it." Dead or alive? I asked. But yeah, I think maybe you should not go into the reliquary anymore.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a really good idea. I
Yeah,
don't fancy falling for that long again.
yeah. Anyway, should we make our way the Rusty Nail?
Bez, did you say that Varathan wanted me to find the temple in Demetrio?
Statues of Arendor.
Yeah. So the last time that you'd spoken to Varathan, he said to you that obviously he'd wanted you to destroy the temple to Arendor. Didn't make it quite clear to you why you should do that or what the repercussions would be, just that he wanted you to do that. After Varlin had fallen and you next spoken to him, he mentioned that there are these temples dotted around Anoria, and he wants you to find them and destroy them if you can.
Was one of them temples not the one where I saw the monk?
Where you saw the monk was the Temple of Balance. That's where you were outside. You recall that when you went down into the Temple of Balance, you guys immediately went through to the library, but there were other places in that lower section that you didn't go to explore. So that's the closest lead you have currently.
I'm gonna say to Fiscal, I just I need to go to the temple. I need to go speak to that monk.
You mean the one that's with LDB?
The one that I picked up and
at
pegged
the
it
Rusty
with.
Nail.
Did he
Is
see me do
who
that?
it is? The monk that fucking was gonna teach me drunken shit.
Oh no, that was Kaze.
nah,
he was
nah.
in Varlin. You guys don't know where he is currently. After the destruction of Varlin, a lot of people are unaccounted for.
Oh, we're all gonna go see if he's in that temple because
Hope
that's
he's dead.
definitely what I'm doing.
On the off chance.
He might be there, maybe.
Can I
Definitely not going to do anything else.
Can I propose rolling opposing checks here, please?
Opposing for what?
No.
I
No.
want to gleam whether or not Piggly Not Piggly is chatting out of his fucking ass.
I think you're kitted out and you need to shut the fuck up and stay in your lane.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch!
I think you need to let me get some shit, man.
You can. Well, I mean,
I've been told to keep an eye on you twice now, so
you could do an insight check, and then Piggly, if you want to try and like hide anything from him, any intentions, then you can do a deception check, and then whoever rolls the highest can determine how it goes.
sure. Fuck.
so tense.
It doesn't matter. I got a 1.
Damn.
You actually take psychic damage for that?
You think back to when Carlin fucking curved you with a handshake, and you're like, oh fuck.
Oh, 2 damage.
Okay, so well, I mean, Piglet, it's down to you then. How does he's trying to basically look at you and see whether you've got some kind of covered intentions or hidden agendas or anything like that. So with a 7, you would beat that. What does he instead kind of read from you?
What, with a lower check?
He's got a 1, so whatever you say now basically is what he gleams from you at this moment. Because you've got a higher roll, you can just say what he would kind of infer from your
what
body
you're saying
language.
is he'd believe anything from me right now.
Within reason.
Yeah, he's not going to assume that you're now, straight or anything like that. That'll just be out of this out of the realm of understanding. But yeah, basically, he's trying to look at the way that you're speaking and see if there's anything that you might be hiding from the way that you're talking. So at this point, you can, because you've got the higher role, you can just sort of say, "Oh, he doesn't really, doesn't really get anything." You might think he's a bit, flustered from falling or whatever. You can just say whatever you want. Eh?
Ding dong ding. Ding dong ding.
I'm gonna say that me getting sent out of there makes me feel a bit weak at the moment. So I'm gonna go back to that temple to see if I can find a monk to teach me the monk ways to train myself to better be prepared for these sort of situations.
Well, wouldn't you have it that the High Priest Veskar, who is with LDB, has offered to train LDB in the ways of the monk? So, you could, by all accounts, ask him to train you as well.
But is he trained in the drunken arts?
I don't know.
He might
I've
be,
heard
but
of these arts before, but I intend to find someone who has the correct expertise to be able to train me this.
Piggly, I haven't seen you drink much since you turned into whatever you presently are.
I
I
know.
was gonna say, remember when all he did was fucking drink?
Yeah.
That's true. Also, it would stand to reason that you've now seen two, well, technically 3 monks here in Anoria. There was Kaze in Varlin. There was one guy that looked like Krillin that was outside the Temple of Balance when you first went here. And then there was actually Viscatel, the
High Priest.
head priest. Yeah.
He seems the
He's
coolest guy
also a
though, for
monk.
me. For me, he seems the coolest. Right?
Well,
Not because I got him in a fucking headlock currently, but
But is he a drunk monk?
those are the 3. So it stands to reason that because most of these have been Kaze and the Krillin-looking dude were both from Cabo Nakoto. Spoilers, they were. But they were both at the Temple of Balance at some point because Visca is also a monk as well. So you know that there must be some ties between them.
So you're saying Visca is the top boy. He trained them all, right?
No, he just might have been.
He knows his shit. He trained everyone. He's the top dog, all right?
He's a.
You could say he's part of the Tiger Guild solo leveling. All right? He's all over this shit.
He's
All right?
a Korean S-class fucking national hunter.
He's a fucking S-class, all right? He's the ultimate nuke, all right? He's got a fucking Jeju Island or whatever the fuck it is, all right?
He's not fucking bald, all right? He's got a full head of hair.
A full head of hair. He looks a bit like LDB. He is LDB, all right?
Yeah. So I mean, if that is your intention, if you want to go find a monk to train, then you could do that through Visca's connections. Once you guys are no longer fugitives of the state.
Visca's a fugitive of the fuckers,
I
mate.
need to think of different bullshit.
Hey, you've tried your fucking bullshit there.
You've explained yourself above board when you rolled a fucking 1. Fuck off.
I didn't explain myself above board. I retorted to the bullshit you tried to pass by me.
You rolled a 1. You can't think that shit.
Fucking pig is like, my cock is 17 inches.
What's been said in person?
So he said he was going to try and find a monk to train him because he feels weak. That was the bullshit he tried to pass by me. At which point, I merely stated the fact that LDB is presently with a monk who has offered to train him.
After rolling a 1. And he doesn't know that he's still with the bug.
Yes, I do, because he sent me a sending stone while we were in the mystical reliquary.
I did sending stone and tell him I did.
No, but I never told you that, but he told me that.
I will say, you guys know that if you go through with the current plan of taking out Aldridge Manor, you will be back in the city. This isn't like you have to do it now or it's over.
No.
You will eventually be back in the city.
Personally,
Take a bit of a hiatus. We're fine.
Personally, Pigley, I'm just saying, I think we should go meet up with the others, because over the course of the next 2 days, we've got to get a lot of shit in place to blow the shit out of Aldridge Manor.
Adam, your cock's big. He'll
Fine,
believe it. He's
I'll go to the temple after I've had some sleep because I'm tired.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sleep right here on this floor. You I'm just gonna sleep on this puddle right here. I'm gonna sleep on that. You go.
Let
I'm
me get my breath back because I've
sleep
been
there. Just gonna sleep with that. That homeless guy's got a good house there in the cardboard. I'm gonna sleep with that guy. Right? Okay, you just go. If you just go that way, I'm gonna go sleep. I'm gonna sleep right there. I'm really tired.
I got to
do. Eyes wide open like that.
Fuck me. Yeah, you guys now need to try and make your way out of the city.
Cool. So
you might find difficult. So currently, it's probably, considering combat and how you guys have been running around, etc., probably about 5 p.m. here, roughly like mid-afternoon or nearly evening.
I say we make our way towards Cutter's Gate, and then from there, kind of glean the best way to get through, see what the guard presence is like. Unless you have any better ideas
Piggy's gonna go to sleep.
that don't involve going to the temple.
He's gonna go. I'm just gonna sleep it off.
But
Fugitive,
what if
schmoovative. All right, I'll sleep it off.
head of the temple knows where he could have gone?
What?
What if the head of the temple knows where he could have gone? They've left the city now. We don't know where they are.
They're meeting us at the Rusty Nail. We've been over this. The rendezvous point is the Rusty Nail. Pigley, I feel like you're not listening to me. I'm trying to tell you the cold hard facts. I spoke to LDB with the Sending Stone. Him and Visklet, they're meeting us.
Visklet? Okay, LDP's interested, alright? He's heard that from a mile away. His eyes going, no, something like that. Someone say it?
They're meeting us at the Rusty Nail, where where Diggsy was last spotted through Crezion. Okay?
Okay, we'll go there then. If you just start walking ahead, I'm just gonna go for a shit round this corner. I'll meet you.
That homeless guy, I'm gonna go shit in his home. Alright. That cardboard box is my toilet. Okay.
You go on ahead. I'll meet you there.
All right, cool. Yeah, sure.
I feel like Fisk inclined with a run. I feel like you're inclined to just go, okay, like, okay.
Yeah, sure. Okay, whatever. And I'm gonna walk around the corner. I'm gonna look through Crezion's eyes if I'm within range.
Crezion would be at the Rusty Nail. So if you look through his eyes, you're just seeing where he is currently, which is.
Did you see me absolutely fucking jorking it?
Can I still see Diggsy on top of the opposite?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he's currently
following. He's still just observing the tavern, watching people go in and out.
Cool. I will then summon Crezion back, tell him to fly in the air and keep an eye on Pigley, not Pigley.
Pigley, not Pigley.
As I go round the corner, hang on. As I go around the corner, I'm going to cast Misty Step and teleport somewhere out of sight.
Okay. Well, I mean, you guys are in alleyways now, so if you sort of stepped around the corner into some shadow, you could misty step any direction and be obscured from the sky.
I'm going to do that then.
Yeah. You summon Kreziorn in your hand and you bamf him into the sky, and you watch as he sort of flies around, and then you look into his eyes. You can't see where Piggly is. Where he stepped around the corner, you can't see him.
I'll tell him to fly around the temple.
Okay. Kreziorn, off he goes.
What makes you think
Goes
I'm there?
Just just covering all bases, and then I will make my way towards the gate.
Well, remember, what you guys initially intended to do was to go to hidden inventory, go through the
yes,
catacombs.
that was it. Yeah, so I'll make my way towards Calder's hidden inventory. While I'm there, I want to see if there's any of those scrolls that Carlin was mentioning.
What, in the store?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, just give me a stealth check for actually navigating the streets without being seen.
Man, I'm glad I've got advantage on this. That is a 14.
A 14. Okay. With a 14, you're kind of off your game a little bit because you're worrying about where the hell Piggly not Piggly is. And so you're kind of sometimes stepping into areas that are a bit too open and then sort of ducking in behind buildings, etc., trying to make sure you're not seen. It does also occur to you that you just look exactly the same as you did when you left. So they're going to be looking for someone who looks exactly like you at the moment.
Are there any washing lines or anything?
Yeah, there's washing lines. Oh no, actually no. You're in the center of the city. There wouldn't be any washing lines just out on the street. But you've got enough. Basically, you can make it to the Calder's hidden inventory with your current stealth roll.
Okay.
Once you're in there, you can, I don't know, maybe try and look for some spare garments, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do investigation check for both the any scrolls from K Seeker and anything anything to sort of
2 investigation checks.
just the one for both.
That's a 12.
12. Easy enough to find some clothes. There's just like a back room of unenchanted cloaks, that kind of thing. So if you wanted to, you could grab some stuff like that. How it looks would be down to you, basically. You got a bit of a choice here. So if you wanted to stick to like darker colors, you could do that. Or if you wanted to try and do like a hide in plain sight kind of thing, you could choose some brighter colors.
Can I look for something a bit more, I guess, regal in a sense?
Yeah, definitely. There's like nobleman tunics and robes
Yeah.
about. A lot of these are in kind of like more expensive colors like purple, blues, gold trimmings, that kind of thing. So if you wear it on while you're out and about in the noble districts, you'll probably blend in all right. You will draw the attention of people who are not noble. So if you see if you were to wear this while you're in Cutter's Gate, for example, people would immediately have eyes on you. But you can definitely take them with you.
Yeah, so I'll take them, and then I'll take some more like common clothing as well, just so I've kind of got like kind of the best of both worlds.
I will also say that it, just as like a general bit, it looks like the inside of the store has been emptied of a lot of the magical equipment. So you gather that this kind of like final phase kind of thing with Diggsy getting prepared for the Aldridge mission. The outside of the store was closed as well, but you could get into it because you've got the pass effectively from Diggsy. So you guys, you can make your way in. Close the door behind you, lock it. No one really questions or looks at you going into the building because of your stealth. Grab the items. There is nothing that you can find by K Seeker in here. No scrolls or anything like that. So unfortunately, yeah, you don't find anything in here. You can make your way down the catacombs.
Yeah.
If there's anything else you want to do, then we'll say that the rest of the time for yourself will just be spent traveling through the catacombs.
I'll just make my way through catacombs.
Cool. I'll take you couple of hours, probably about 2 hours or so traveling, because effectively just across the whole underside of the city. Piggly, not Piggly, actually Malric. What's he doing then?
Is there any homeless people near me
Uh,
in my alleyway?
not where you are now. You're sort of in the Vale area, so there wouldn't be any homeless people here because they would either be shoved out outside the wall or just killed.
Is there anywhere? Is there anything nearby where I could get some different clothes?
Yeah, so if you wanted to, you could. I mean, let's be honest here. The way that Malric is currently attuned alignment wise, you could probably just find someone, kill them, and take their clothes. If you wanted to do such an act.
I'm gonna wait for someone to walk past the alleyway that I'm in. I'm going to grab them
God.
and where is it?
Jesus
Where is it?
Christ.
I'm going to cast Vampiric Touch on them.
Yeah, roll the
Third level.
attacks.
A
Yeah.
random fucking civilian. Thank you. Gone. Like they've just gone. Ah. They've just deflated into nothing. All right.
23.
23
Oh
to
my
hit.
god. They were someone's son.
Daughter. Yeah, I mean, with that, it's safe to say these aren't fighters. These are just random civilians. So even just a level 1 version of that spell would have just fucking been overkill. Level 3,
is
yeah.
the lowest level I can cast that.
Oh, vampire. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. In that case, then when you cast it, you're used to some resistance when you're casting these spells. So the fact that you managed to cast this and just immediately drain them of all vitality, turn them into a dried up husk, basically almost immediately, and then whatever you get from doing that as well.
I'm going to take the clothes off, put them on me, take my clothes off, put it on them. Then I'm going to cast Animate Dead and send them towards the
Oh.
Rusty Nail.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, the dude that you chose, I'm guessing if this was your purpose, had a similar look to you. So long black hair, etc. With your clothes
But
on,
it's gonna-
he's going to just be walking in that direction towards the Rusty Nail. Whatever happens to that zombie, we'll never know.
Just cause a zombie outbreak.
Fiscal, you get a ping from Crezion at this point that he's spotted. He calls you. He calls you on fucking WhatsApp, Viber, whatever. Yeah. Ring,
Bebo.
ring. He calls you and goes, "I found him. He's going towards the gate on the ground."
Get a closer look.
I want to fly down.
Yeah. Just keep an eye on him.
Okay. I can do that. Yeah.
Cool.
And
Let
then
me know what he does.
he flies down, just starts following that Crezion, not a very intelligent creature, so despite the fact that he's just sort of shambling forward, he's just kind of like, yeah, I've got him now. He is following him. All right. You're now sufficiently dressed in like a nobleman's outfit, both of you at this stage. So, Piggly, what are you doing then?
I'm gonna go to the temple.
Okay. As you head closer and closer towards the temple, you are noticing that the guards are becoming more and more common. So there's a lot more guards the closer you get towards the temple. There's also a lot of chatter around the people. A large portion of the noble population is now sort of gathered around the temple. It's obviously talk of the town at the moment, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, I heard it was a terrorist group from Tesselheim. Send a message. They want their political freedom. But there's just lots of random chatter, people trying to work out exactly what's happened here. But the guards are also doing spot checks on people as they're walking through. So you're gonna, even though you are disguised, you are gonna have to do somewhat of a stealth check here. I'll say with the nobleman's outfit, you do get advantage on this.
Crit fail, crit fail.
12.
12. Okay. For where you are currently, is 12 is fine. Guards kind of just look at you. They don't even see your face. They just see the robes and like, yeah, whatever, another one. And then they just carry on their patrols, etc. As you're getting closer and closer to the temple, though, night's falling. There's less people now out on the streets. More than is probably common, but still, it's getting dark. People have got things to do. So you, as you get closer to the temple, the whole street around the temple has been now, after a couple of hours, it's been sort of cordoned off. So if you were to try and walk towards the temple, one, it's going to get a lot of attention, and two, you're going to be intercepted. If you were to just walk straight there, anyway.
I'm gonna get to an alleyway that's close enough to the front door of the temple, and I'm gonna misty step into the temple.
The square around the temple is kind of wide open, basically. You could misty step. You wouldn't be able to do it to the front door, though. You'd probably be able to misty step to like the back of the building. That would be the closest spot.
I'll do that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. You go towards basically just follow the square around and then to the back, and then you misty step 30 feet as you sort of slink into the ground and then reappear at the back of the building. The actual building itself is pretty messed up now, even more so than when you were here last time. It looks like the initial impacts obviously brought some of the roof down, but as that support is no longer there, more of the roof has collapsed. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could see as a viable option to climb over the rubble and try and, basically just maneuver yourself through whatever holes to try and get into the main hall.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get over the rubble.
Okay, give me an athletics check.
12.
Another 12. Okay. You start to clamber, and as you're sort of putting your hands on, every now and then you don't realize that this is very loose, compacted sort of rubble. So as you're putting your hand on and you put some weight on it to pull yourself up, you get like bits crumbling off, basically. We're now fully in infiltration mode, so I'm going to go ahead and change the music for my sake more than anything.
Fucking Mission Impossible.
Right. You have successfully clambered onto a crumbled portion of the building, basically the Temple of Balance. As you are peering down in it, you can see there is one person in there that's just sort of surveying the area, and he's sort of crouching down at points, taking some notes, getting some etchings, that kind of thing. And he seems to be, he just seems to be taking notes of the mess, basically, in here. But he is just one guy. He does not see you, but he is walking around in a perimeter, just taking notes and, trying to catalog the damages, that kind of thing.
Is the stairs going down to where this basement-y area is?
Yeah, so where you are now, you're at the back of the building. So you're kind of up here, looking in. There's about a 40-foot drop to the bottom of the floor from where you are. And then immediately below is like the main altar where those priests or the wraiths were doing that thingy to try and get the approposita out of the building. Off to the side, sort of on the right-hand side of the building, there is the staircase that Visca led you down. So you know where the entrance is to go to the same place. At the very least, how to get to the library. Question is, how do you want to do it?
I'm going to wait for him to move sort of away from where I am before I drop down.
Okay, no problem. It takes a couple of minutes. He seems to, every now and then, he'll kind of take some note and then start to move off and then turn back around and then take another note of something he missed. It takes about 5 minutes or so for him to actually leave that area. And once he goes, he ends up down towards one of the pillars that is in the center of the room. He's now completely looking away from you, and he's probably about 60 feet from where you are in terms of actual distance. So you could drop down now. It's about 40 foot down. How are you gonna get down?
Still got another. Oh, shit, which one am I on? Oh, that one. I'm gonna misty step 30 foot of the way.
You're gonna misty step 30 foot. Oh, so what? You jumping off and then misty step 30 foot and land on the floor.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll
fine.
drop 10 feet before I use misty step and
Okay.
basically
problem.
teleport directly to the floor.
Yeah. You dive through the hole in the roof, and then like those. Basically, you now look like one of the wraiths that you guys have been fighting, and you end up operating down like Death Eater. Basically, jump down and then, in a ball of shadow, reappear on the ground and land in a sort of a kneeled pose, kind of like a 3-point landing on the ground, as the shadows eventually sort of take form and solidify into your body. You can see straight ahead, guy's 60 feet ahead. He's not heard you or anything like that. Just go ahead, give me another stealth check while you're in here.
Please fail.
11.
11. You do, as you land, well, as you jumped off, you did scatter some loose rubble behind you. So as you sort of dived off and landed, there's going to be, in probably a few seconds, there's just going to be a load of rocks and stuff that just collapse down onto the ground behind you. So you're going to have to, well, if you stay where you are and just let the rocks land behind you, he's going to turn around and see you. So you need to dive off to the side, basically.
Don't tell him
I'll
what to
close right
do.
to the stairwell.
Okay, no problem. Right, so yeah, you run off, go to the stairwell, and then as you sort of go down the stairs, there's a section where it just sort of curves off onto one side, so you dip around there, and then you do hear the guy running basically up to where the rubble fell, and then you hear him whisper to him, well, loosely you can hear him whisper to him, so like, oh, place is falling apart, it might be dangerous to stay in here, and then you just hear him talking to himself basically. But you can continue down, sort of in basically this lower basement section of the Temple of Balance. There is a central corridor that goes forward, and then it opens up a little bit, and then the place that you guys went to was the library section, which is just on the left-hand side here. That's all you've seen. But ahead there was like a central spot with a big mural on the wall, and then there was 3 other corridors that you can go down.
I'll start checking the corridor, see if I can see any signs of this statue that I need to destroy.
Give me an investigation check.
1. You walk into a wall.
13.
13, okay. You go to check these other corridors. Now, with what you're looking for, these other ones just seem, for all intents and purposes, like storage rooms, basically. You had the one that was like a storage room for knowledge, which was the library. You've got another one which is clothes and, very old pieces of armor from when there were, like, weaponized priests of Paylor.
Is there anything worth taking?
Anything worth taking?
Yeah.
There's some priests' robes in here if you want to wear those. A lot, like I said, the armor's old, so I mean, if you wanted to just have some like plate mail, you could take it if you wanted to, but you would have to carry it around with you, which is the only thing, unless you wanted to wear it.
Is there any other robes, or is it just priest robes?
A lot of these are different grades of priest, if you like. So the ones that Visca was wearing was head priest, which was mostly reds and whites with gold emblazoned scarf, basically. The other ones that are like, initiates and, junior priests, that kind of thing, they're mostly just like a dark red with some white pattern work on them. But they are all priest robes.
I'll take some initiate priest robes and keep them in my bag.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. You roll them up, put it onto your, in your satchel, basically. That's fine. You spend a bit more time sort of having a look around the place. These other corridors, the ones that you've seen was where the priest's sort of equipment was held. One of the others is where there's like some old rations and stores of food, that kind of thing. And then in one of the other corridors is where they keep building supplies, that kind of thing, to repair any damages that are done. It doesn't look like a lot of what you're looking for in here. The only thing that seems to stand out to you in here is the mural that was on the other side of the wall.
What is the mural?
So on the mural, it looks very, very old. It is faded, but from what you can see, it looks like it's depicting scenes of like old rulers holding scepters and crowns. At the center of this is a plaque that's got an inscription that's etched in very archaic form of the common language, so Anorian. And it, as you focus on it, it does seem like that language is faintly shimmering. You can see just next to the plaque as well, there is an indentation that's shaped kind of like a crescent moon. It looks like there's something to be placed in there. There definitely is something off about this mural, and you can see at different corners of this mural, there's the different moons of Anoria, but one of them is in a crescent moon shape.
Is it able to come off?
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah. As you go to sort of reach onto it and you sort of push your hand across it, it's got like a little bumped ridge onto it. And then as you press into the ridge, it just seems to slowly slide out. So yeah, you could grab it, pull it out of that spot.
Yeah, I'll grab it and put it onto the area where it looks like it needs to go.
As you place the crescent moon into the section with the corresponding shape, the second that you push it in, almost like when you click finally, there's like a pulse of light from there, which seems to go through all the cracks in like a radiating fashion. As that light sort of goes over the central mural, you can see it reveals on there a what you can now read. It seems like a little bit of a riddle, basically. So
shit, what does a riddle say?
Yeah, it's hidden here. But the riddle says, in days of yore, when crowns were earned, a ruler's worth by deeds discerned, not by blood nor title's might, but he who served in shadowed light, whose name endures through banners fade. The true king's path in stone is laid. Speak his name and claim the key, the king who ruled most humbly.
Got fucking clue.
Let me.
Is there any checks I can do?
I'll paste the thing in here. Just.
What was Matey Boy's name? Duncan. Is it Duncan?
Don't help him. Don't help him.
It's Duncan. It's fucking Duncan, mate. Yeah.
I can't remember how.
He wants to start blowing shit up. He can figure it out himself.
That's a good point. I could use fireball.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do a history check to see if Pigley knows any history of old Demetriel.
Oh, nat 20.
All right, this guy's gay. Never mind.
With a nat 20, you do remember that there was from traveling with Fiscal and reading through the books in the library, you do know that there was a change of royal family about 500 odd years ago. And the current family is the Vespertines, who are ruling. The previous family that was ruling had the royal name of Krieg. That was their surname, but you can't quite recall who the exact king was.
Krieg of the Blitzverrat.
I think I remember the name.
I know something you don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember a fucking thing of this.
Just take a stab at the dark, mate.
I'll try saying the last. I'll try just fucking Krieg.
Just Krieg.
Yeah.
The words do seem to faintly shimmer when you say Krieg, but apart from that, nothing happens.
Is there any other checks I can do to remember them?
You got a nat 20 on history. I don't know what else you're trying to glean here. Bez, I've
You
sent
gleam.
I've sent you a
nothing.
message there, Bez. Is that the right answer?
Where are you? Not quite. You got this at the
You
right
got no
end.
shit, bitch.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. The guy you mentioned was the one guy from our party. I'm not sure if there's any other checks that you could do for sort of but I mean there is a library right around the corner from you.
Yeah, I'll go check the library.
Interesting.
Nah,
Very interesting.
All the books have been destroyed. I don't know why you went to check in there. No, I'm joking. Yeah. You can have a look. Give me an investigation check.
16.
Bro.
16. Okay. Yeah, you do find that there's a different list on there. A lot of this is kind of Vespertine revisionist history. So a lot of this is just stating, strong Vespertine rulers. But at the very, very end of the book, there is just like a small section basically that says, and at this time, 500 Sealed Age, the king that ruled prior to Marcus Vespertine was Evander Krieg.
I'm gonna go back and say Evander.
Okay, yeah. You go back and you say Evander Krieg, and as you say the words, you watch as the mural, basically the paintings on the mural start to come to life. As instead of just holding scepters now, they walk towards where the plaque was and grab onto the plaque as paintings and pull outwards. And as they pull outwards, the wall basically just separates for you. And straight ahead of you is a long sort of spiral staircase. It goes into pure darkness.
While he's thinking real quick, what's the zombie doing?
Roll a d20, Bigley. Just a straight d20. Because at this point you would be out of range to give him commands.
19.
19. Okay. He is straight up just walking towards Cutter's Gate. If you are looking through Cresion, you can see. In fact, yeah, Cresion would sort of beep to you, Fiscal, as you're going through the catacombs. You're like, oh, your friend, he's stuck. There's some guards around him. They kind of got the spears pointed out. Oh, I think he's dead.
Cresion, get a closer look.
Okay. He flies a bit closer. And he says, "Oh yeah, definitely dead. There's like 7 spears through the guy."
Can I see the face or anything of dead?
If you
Not Piggly.
Yeah. I mean, immediately when you snap back from behind, definitely looks like Piggly. Similar sort of build, long black hair, and the same obviously robes that you saw him in. As it comes around to his face, you just see some random dude with like a really patchy beard. His skin's like all wrinkly and grey from having been vampirically touched. Definitely does not look like any Piggly that you know.
That fucking bastard. Whereabouts am I in the catacombs now? Am I?
You would probably how much time would it have been? So I would say you are probably at about the entrance to Diggsy's little hideout spot.
Are any of the guys there who were there when, like me and Piggly were waiting around for LDB to reappear?
No, this place has been cleared out. There's nothing left here.
Okay. How long would it take to get to, like, Rusty Nail to Diggsy?
From where you are now to the Rusty Nail, it would be...
If I booked it.
I mean, you're not that far from the Cutter's Gate entrance. So if to get to like the actual Cutter's Gate streets, it'll probably take you about half an hour. Well, no, not even that. Probably take you like about 10 minutes if you booked it, and then from there to Rusty Nail would probably be about another 30 minutes, maybe.
Cool. I'm gonna book it, and I'm just gonna like when I get to like outside, I want to clamber onto some roofs and just kind of like start jumping and flickering my way to Digsy.
Nice. They call him Ezio in a different game. Yeah, that's fine. You can do that. We'll say while you're doing that, we'll cut back to Piggly. Are you descending down the staircase, Piggly?
Yeah, I'm gonna cast my light cantrip on my staff.
No way, you've got a light spell. What the fuck?
Sheds a bright light in a 20-foot radius and a dim light for an additional 20 feet. The light can be colored as you like, so I'm gonna make it purple.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah, it doesn't come out as normal. Yeah, you cast the light spell, and it's almost like it's being cast through like basically it looks like there's shadows or shapes moving as the light hits the wall. Instead of it just being like a solid block of light, you can still see normally, but it looks like there's patterns in the light as shadows being cast as well. But yeah, as you sort of go down the spiral staircase, it seems to open into like this really wide cavern, basically. A sanctuary, what it was previously. As soon as you get down there, though, the air is thick with like the scent of earth and mildew, and you can hear the sound of just like water dripping in the distance. There are stone columns in here. This temple is a bit different to the one in Varl. Instead of there being statues, there are stone pillars that go up that have been carved into the shape of trees, basically, that look like they're supporting the ceiling. And they've got their branches sort of intertwining all the way across the ceiling. There's actual moss and vines sort of growing on the side of the walls that are all now cracked, and they've sort of covered other murals of Arendor's teachings of preservation, unity, and balance of life. The temple's floor is scattered, and there's random bits of rubble and broken tiles, and there is sort of a tree. What the pattern of these tiles was like a tree that had a crescent moon circling underneath it, but because they're all loose and broken now, it's just sort of like a bit of a jumbled, mismatched jigsaw. There are altars that line the walls that have been long abandoned, and their surfaces have sort of, it looks like they're almost scorched and broken a little bit. There are some statues of Arendor that seem to be four posts basically around this central altar, and they're the same as the one in Valin. The faces on those are pretty shattered, worn. What?
No, not you. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was going to say. Yeah, so the faces are shattered and worn. What you can see, though, all these statues seem to be pointing towards the central focus of the room. And at the heart of the temple in here, you can see a relic, which is a replica in marble of the moons of Varlin. Not Varlin, the moons of Anoria. And these, even though they're made of marble, do seem to be rotating slowly in unison. Although one of the moons is black. One of them is held together, but is very obviously cracked. And one of the moons seems to be in sort of pristine condition. And they seem to be floating silently around a shallow pool that's filled with still water. Give me a history check.
Roll for initiative.
9.
9. You have no idea what the moons of Varlin. Why do I keep saying Varlin? The moons of Anoria are. You recognize that there are definitely 3 of them, but you got no clue really what they kind of represent here. But they do sort of rotate around each other slowly in a kind of dance almost. And there is a light emanating from somewhere between these moons that's causing shadows to be cast around the room as they start to shift. Yeah, what do you do?
Can I take these moons off their little altars?
So you're approaching the sort of central artifact then.
Yeah.
Okay. You're the only person in here. As you sort of step and you put your weight on sort of cracked tiles, every single footstep and every bit of pressure sends like echoes reverberating around the room. As you get closer to it, another section, like another plaque basically with Old Anorian written on there that seems to be glowing. Yeah, it says on there, the moons watch, the balance holds. When they falter, so too does the world.
Say the moon was made of marble.
They're all three of them are made of marble, and they're slowly rotating above this pool of water.
How far apart are they?
I mean they're probably about as far as where you are from your computer screen. Then they're pretty close together.
You gotta remember, Braden's got short arms, so.
Oh, okay. As far as your arms extend.
I'm gonna cast Flaming Sphere in the middle of all three of them.
Okay. Fair enough.
Taking
You
them.
cast. Yeah. One before you cast that, you do notice that everything immediately around the artifact or these three moons is perfectly sort of preserved. So there's no growth or anything like that. The water underneath hasn't stagnated. But as you cast Flaming Sphere on it, immediately the light of these moons starts to dim down as they start to sort of flicker. So instead of being a solid continuous light, it's now sort of dimming and flickering. And the Flaming Sphere starts to sort of boil some of the water underneath as well as that starts bubbling. But they still seem to be rotating.
I love that we're not even in combat and Braden's just burning through his spell slot.
Right?
I hope some cunt jumps him after he's used them all. He just has to hit them with his staff.
Can I try and take the moons?
Yeah. You, which one are you grabbing onto? Remember those three? There was one that was black, one that was cracked, and then one that was more of like a consistent white.
I'll take the cracked one.
The cracked one. Okay. As you go to grab it, you feel yourself slowly get dragged with it, and so then you put both hands on it. Go ahead, give me a strength check.
Shit. Fucking
What did you get?
crit fail.
A crit fail. Okay. Yeah. As you go to sort of grab it and try to pull it back, it's just dragging you across the ground as it turns around the flaming ball that you've put in the center. It doesn't seem to really give.
I'll try the black one.
The black one. Okay. As you place your hands on the black moon, go ahead and give me a wisdom saving throw.
Ah, shit. 14.
You die.
14. You die. No. As you place your hand on it, immediately your mind is sort of barraged with thousands, hundreds of thousands of different visions of things that don't make sense to you. Some things you can just barely recognize, like the structures of buildings, impossibly large things, planets colliding with each other. There is a huge influx of information, and you take on a wisdom save like that, you take 13 points of psychic damage.
I'll take the
But-
light one then.
No, your hands are still on it. You are moving the
Yeah.
black moon. As you pull it, you watch as the other one start to shake in position. You can carry on pulling it, try and take it out of orbit if you want.
Yeah, fuck it, I've come this far.
Okay, give me another wisdom saving throw.
Shit. 8.
8. Again, visions are getting more and more intense. You are pulling it out of the central location now, and you're watching as well. You can't see it because you're looking at other shit. But as the moon is being pulled out of orbit, the water underneath is also being dragged with it, as if obviously the gravity of the moon is affecting the water below. In these visions, yeah, there's nothing that makes sense to you. It's just a barrage of information. You take another. Oh shit. 6 points of psychic damage. But you have now in your hand. It still seems to have like a force of its own, but you have now in your hand the moon, the black moon.
What did that writing say again?
The writing said, "The moons watch, the balance hold. When they falter, so too does the world."
I'm gonna go try and take the light one as well.
So what are you doing with the black one?
I'm gonna go and stick it over by the entrance of the room, well away from where the
Okay.
main area is.
You can easily enough just go place it near the entrance. It's very heavy, this orb, so it takes you longer than you might think just to carry it over to where the entrance is. You place it down, and as you place it onto the ground, it actually leaves like an impact crater on the floor, and then you go back towards where the white one was. The two moons now are spinning a lot faster. Give me an acrobatics check to try and grab onto it.
Fuck me. 14.
14. Yeah, you grab onto it. The inertia of this thing spinning, you grab onto it and immediately sort of picks you up off the ground, and you start sort of spinning with it slowly as well. But you have held onto it. You do feel an odd sensation through when you're holding the moon, and it seems to be showing you, everything around you seems to get a little bit brighter as you hold onto it, and you feel the wounds sort of on your mind basically start to cover and heal slowly as you recover.
Thank fuck for that.
Not bad. 8 points of HP. But you are now currently also holding onto this thing and being dragged around with it as well. Your flaming orb in the center is still very much there.
I'm gonna keep trying to pull it off. Maybe I'll get some more HP then.
You wouldn't be able to pull it off because you're currently in the air with it. So I would say you wouldn't be able to like move it or anything. You could try whatever you wanted aside from that.
I'm going to let go and I'm going to cast Mage Hand and get that to try and pull it off.
Okay, yeah. You let go and you sort of skid to a slide in momentum. But then when you stop, you cast Mage Hand and you're grabbing onto the white one, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, give me another athletics check with advantage.
12.
12 with advantage. That's crazy.
No, I got two 12s.
You feel the moon as your mage hand sort of grabs onto it. These really unnecessarily long, bony fingers grab onto it and then wrap around almost twice onto the orb. You feel it, and then it pulls enough. Eventually, it just goes straight through the hand. It doesn't look like it held onto it, but for the time where you held it in place, the cracked moon started to become more and more fractured as it sort of got pulled apart. But then, as soon as the mage hand failed, it just kind of went stuck back together again.
I'm going to try that again then.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, give me another acrobatics check with advantage.
13.
13.
You pull against it, and this time the cracked moon starts to open up even wider as the fragments instead of joining back together when the mage hand inevitably fails, instead of trying to join back together, parts of it just start spinning, almost like the rings of Saturn, just turning, spinning by itself. I'll say you do this a couple more times, and then eventually what you're left with is the white moon in your mage hand, and then the shattered one just sort of spinning around itself really violently, just above the flaming orb that you had. What do you want to do with the white moon in your hand?
I'm going to stay where I am, and I'm going to get the mage hand to bring it to me, and I'm going to keep hold of it for now.
Okay, no problem. As you drag it with the mage hand away and past the threshold of the water, you see like a visible crack in the reality of that space. And as the crack, as you pull it further and further towards you and away from that central area, the crack starts to get larger and larger. Yeah. As you sort of pull it all the way to where you are, there is eventually a resonant sort of crack, a single crack that echoes throughout the temple. It's louder than any sound that you've ever heard before. All three moons simultaneously shatter, and the entire area is now covered in a very fine, almost like glass kind of dust, basically everywhere. In the moment between the crack and the dust, it seems to be eerily silent, and eventually the dust starts to coalesce into a moon that is white, black, and cracking, and it starts to spin furiously, and it seems to immediately sort of dispel the flaming orb that you have in the center. And you watch as this central moon that's made of dust starts to spin quicker and quicker and quicker. It starts to drag the water up, and as the water gets dragged up from the center and starts latching onto the moon, it starts to turn black. And as the water below is sort of turning more and more into an inky black surface that doesn't seem to be reflecting any light, you start to hear like a low guttural hum that starts to get louder and louder and louder, and you watch as through the cracks in the tiles, shadows start to sort of seep out of the floor and immediately latch onto this central, like if this is the orb here, it's just shadow spikes coming out of the ground through the cracks in the tiles, latching onto this central orb that's spinning faster and faster and faster. The darkness basically in the entire room starts to spin into this massive pillar of black energy that in a moment seems to all condense into one tiny little spot, and then immediately expands rapidly straight upwards into a massive pillar of writhing black energy, and it seems to streak upward through the temple ceiling, ignoring the stone and the earth above. And as it pulses with black energy, basically, it starts releasing swarms and swarms of shadow figures, wraiths, each one of them coalescing into distinct shapes with skeletal frames and wisps of darkness sort of trailing behind them. And they seem to be shrieking as they come out of the pillar, exploding like dark fireworks when they reach the apex of their sort of flight. Each burst sends smaller fragments of shadow cascading down. Fiscal, you see this as well from where you're stood. A huge pillar of black seems to take all the light out of that part of the city, and you watch as the same thing that I just described there. This huge pillar goes straight up, and then out of it, little tiny figures that seem to basically just stream out of this thing and then blow up. And it keeps doing that over and over and over. The entire city now is bearing witness to this huge pillar breaking out of the ground.
Just as I'm running, I'm just gonna be like, Piggly, what the fuck have you done? And I'm gonna that's gonna drive me to get to Diggsy even faster.
Yeah. Where you are, Piggly, the air around you while you're watching it, seemingly you're unable to move while you're watching this. The air around you starts to grow icy, and the shadows that are being streamed into the sky are drinking in all the warmth and the light. And the once decaying temple of Arendor now starts to crumble, unable to sort of withstand the force that's been unleashed here. Stones start to fall, and the temple ground starts to tremble violently as the pool starts to become a vortex and starts pulling in everything in the room towards it. Give me an acrobatics save, please.
I hope you get a fucking crit fail on this, I swear to God.
Ooh, acrobatics save.
11.
11. You get dragged from where you are stood now. You're about 30, we'll say you're about 40 feet away. You get dragged 10 feet closer to the vortex. As you see some of the what do they call it? The wraiths sort of start scrambling down to try and grab you, but the energy and the gravity of this vortex is too strong. So as they sort of get close to you and almost grab onto you, they immediately sort of explode in you, covering your face with this weird inky black mess. To everyone else outside, the city of Demetrial is now being covered in streaks of shadow emanating from the Temple of Balance. There is screams being heard as people are looking out their windows, and people on the streets are now seeing these wraiths explode onto the scene. In the air, I'll say, as you're running, Fiscal, go ahead and give me another perception check.
Natural 20 plus 7.
Yeah, unmistakably, as you are now in a hurry to get to where Diggsy is, you turn one last time to see this pillar to see if it's still firing, and it is. However, what you can see is within the central aspect of the pillar, a figure and a face that you've just recently seen, the jagged shapes, the many eyes of Varathan.
You motherfucker.
In the center of that pillar.
Daddy.
Ooh.
Yeah. It looks like whatever has happened here is a very, very strong, well, it's almost like a promise of what's to come. And at the heart of that promise is Varathan. You also spot that the 3 moons in the sky, in response to this massive shadow spilling out from the earth, start to dim slightly.
Good.
Piggly, go ahead and give me another acrobatics save, please, as you get pulled.
I'm gonna use my last fucking second level on Misty Step to get 30 feet away.
Yeah, you feel yourself getting dragged closer and closer. You're basically on your heels trying to push, or trying to do anything to push yourself away. And then as you feel your legs sort of slip, you do panic a little bit and tap into that power, and you bamf immediately 30 feet backwards. The force here doesn't seem as strong, and so you're basically outside of the, almost feels like you're outside of the effects of the pull. But as soon as you get outside of the range of it, the entire pillar immediately just starts to collapse in on itself, like a slowly collapsing ball. Basically, just gets slowly more and more compact until eventually condenses into a single point, and in single point in the room for you, Piggly. Fiscal, that pillar is gone now, so there's nothing there anymore. The moons regain their previous light, and the city seems to return to normal, except for people running in fear. With you, Piggly, you see this tiny little ball of energy basically in the center of the room. It seems to be spinning very, very fast, and then just as you think it might be safe to approach it, immediately it explodes, coating the entire inside of the temple in a very thick black inky liquid, which also covers you. Go ahead, give me a wisdom saving throw, please. 13. You feel the black ink or the black sludge start to sink into your skin. With the 13, you have no idea what this means. but you currently basically you look at your hands and your skin color goes from a pale, well, just like a regular white skin color now to a very, very pale white, deathly so. But the room around you seems to be now in silence, and in the very center where that pulsating sort of orb was before it exploded is a very small, very sharp, gleaming crystal. No, we're not doing happy music. That's not happy.
No, this is not a happy situation, Runner.
A very dark, very sharp-looking crystal, just sort of humming in place, as if it's shaking, basically, with power.
After being sucked about a bit, I'm gonna get Mage Hand to try and grab it.
Pause.
Okay.
What did he say? What did he say?
You summon your mage hand.
So my guy's getting sucked about real quick.
That's what I heard. That's what it says in my notes as well.
Bro, I wish ODB was here for any of this shit. Like, come on.
You go ahead and touch the gem with the mage hand, and it seems to be disrupting the magic around the mage hand, and you're not quite able to hold onto it without the mage hand. It moves it out of place a little bit, and then the magic on the mage hand just seems to slip through, and it goes back into place.
I'm gonna go and grab it.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Fuck.
Okay.
I'm gonna regret this.
How many spell slots do you have?
Not enough.
4 on first level, 1 on third level, and 1 on fourth level.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Right, you go ahead and walk up to the crystal. As you're sort of stepping through the sludge or the ink, it's just squelching, sticking. It makes it hard to sort of move closer and closer. This thing is now drenched. The priest robes that you've got in your backpack as well, they've just turned completely slick with black, basically. And as you step towards it and you go to reach out and put your hand onto the crystal, the second that even just your finger touches it, again, you're assaulted with the same visions as you had before, as the ink in the room now slowly starts to spin back into the crystal, and it's sucking it from every possible place inside here. And as soon as it all sort of coalesces into this one spot, you grab it into your hand. Immediately, the place around you starts to just fall and crumble. The entire temple, effectively, the entire basement level of the Temple of Balance is now slowly starting to collapse in on itself.
I'm a fucking run.
Yeah, you get out.
I'm a bucket.
You
But
dash
as I'm running, I'm going to start putting on them priest robes that I robbed before.
while you're running.
Fucking
Okay.
It's
Okay.
robes, so it's just chucking it over the top of myself.
Trips-
Over the top of
trips
whatever.
over some stairs, falls all the way back down.
You are running up you're going sort of up the spiral staircase now, and it feels a lot longer than going down it. And so as you're running up, you're seeing like bits of rubble and rock sort of roll past your feet, coming from above. And as you get to the very top of the stairs, the mural's closed, Bigly.
Fireball.
Nuke.
Yeah. Destroy it. Get it out of there.
Get it now.
You don't have to roll to hit. Obviously, it's a wall. Just go ahead and roll some damage, whatever level you're casting it at.
14.
14. Okay. As you cast the spell, the crystal in your hand seems to glow white hot. And as soon as you unleash the magic, instead of it just being bolts of fire, it's just a continuous stream of scorching ray, basically, as you blast through the wall. And as soon as you blast through and you no longer intend to fire the spell, the crystal just goes back to normal. But as you break through the wall, there is a row of guards all stood there, all looking at you, covering the entrance to where you come down through the steps.
Oh no,
Yeah.
the consequences of my actions.
Pissed because I'm fucking busted.
How did this happen to me? What? Who was that? That wasn't me. What?
In real life, what's going on?
He's gone for a piss.
Oh, okay.
Meanwhile,
What?
Meanwhile, yeah. In fact, you know what? We'll cut to LDB here. Actually,
Fucking hell. This is my first thing in the fucking session, is it? Jesus Christ.
you sent me a message on the sentence, though.
That's true.
That was it. That was all I did.
Then
was
you
actually
brushed your teeth.
Yeah, I
You,
did brush my teeth. Yeah, that was worth it. Actually, I was glad about that. I needed that.
You are walking with Fisker now. You're basically almost at the Rusty Nail. It's gone to nightfall, and you've also just seen this huge streaking pillar of darkness and dark magic, basically just flying out of the center of the city of Demetriel. Viska, reacting to this, seems to almost start to show his age and start to sort of wobble in place as he falls to one knee, looking into the sky.
Viska, you see this shit right now?
I've had far too much drink to have to think this much shit through.
It's fine. We've cut to Dan, so you've got a bit more time.
All right, that's fine.
Viska says he's looking very, very shaken up. He's immediately started sweating on the sweat. He's like, I've never seen this. That's from the temple. He looks at you with eyes of fear and worry, and he says, What could this be?"
Well, Viska, it looks like we better go investigate. Let's get ourselves to that temple.
He's sort of just staying on his knees as you say that. He's like, This is the end. The temple's been destroyed. It's black magic. Whoa.
Hey, Viska, listen. Is anything I've learned on my travels as a solo adventurer? I wish I was still a solo adventurer. But if there's anything I've learned, alright? Nothing is the end. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, Viska. Alright?
Oh.
Now get off. Now get up, alright? You're embarrassing yourself. I'll
As
see
you
this
say-
shit too, alright? It's not making me fall to my knees, okay? Let's go. We soldier on, boy.
It's true what they say, the stupidest people are always the happiest.
That's true. As Viska sort of looks at you with these eyes, you can see his eyes are welling up with tears, but nonetheless, you've you've hit him where it hurts in his pride. Even though he's a priest and a holy man, he can't sit from that challenge, and he stands himself up, knees shaking, and he takes a second, wipes his eyes from his face, and he's like, "No, you're right. We should go see what's happened.
Yeah, baby, let's go.
Do you have a way back into the city?"
No. But I have a feeling the rest of the gates won't be as guarded as that gate. Because that's the gate me and you were running towards. So the other gates, there'll be less people, there'll be less soldiers, there's gotta be. We'll be fine.
No, you're right. There'll be less soldiers everywhere. They'll all run towards the temple. They'll man the stations.
Brayton's just gonna get overrun by guards.
I've got my plan. I know.
Also, Viska, I've got a very good feeling they're stopping people from leaving. Okay, we're going in. That's gonna be easy. I got my little hood. You got your little hood. We're solid. There's no way they know it.
You watch as Viska says, "Well, I didn't think I'd have to use this here, but I've got no choice." And he reaches under his robe.
Whips his
he
cock out.
pulls out- around his neck. He's like, "I've got my cannon, all right."
I'll seduce our way in.
Here's my musket. Bang! Reload!
It's a cannon.
Put that one in the gifts, please. Okay. Yeah, you watch as he pulls out from his robe a scroll that seems to be has like a metal sheen on it, and you watch as he twists the top slowly and then pushes it in. And as he pushes it in, you start to hear a fizzling sound, and he pushes it into the air, and then what fires out is a straight white beam of light, almost in opposition, basically, to the dark pillar of light that was there previously.
Can Fiscal see this white light?
You most definitely would.
As he's booking, he's like, "What the fuck is going on tonight?"
I will say the white light sort of streams into the air, and then as it sort of meets resistance with the wind, it starts to sort of get dragged away into one side. It looks like it was almost like a flare, basically. And he said, "Okay, I thought that would do something more. Hopefully, we have reinforcements soon. Let's try and do something." Fiscal, you saw that behind you because you were closer to the rusty nail than they were.
LDB just looks up and goes,
Can
so now
I? Can I go investigate? How far away is the white light at my current
The
speed?
white light that you saw probably about like, I mean, you're on the rooftop, so probably about like 3-4 rows of buildings behind you.
I'll just quickly double back and investigate.
Okay. Yeah, you run backwards. LDB, are you guys running towards the city now? Or you just sort of...
Yes, I would say we're running towards like the closest gate.
Okay. All right. So closest gate, you guys would be Cutter's Gate.
We're
It's not
fucking.
too far. Yeah.
Visca's like, real close behind me because he's fast as fuck. Alright?
Yeah, he is very, very fast.
He's like that. Naruto fucking. You know what I mean? Like.
Can't even see his feet, man. It's like Sonic.
Literally, gone.
You could, Fiscal, as you sort of dive back around, you're like, fuck's sake, another thing. You turn around a whole ass the other way. You see the only two figures running towards the city. Familiar, tall, 8'2" figure, and Visca keeping up behind him. You gather, these guys are also going to investigate. The streak of white light that was there, even though it's kind of like dissipated, it seems to be sort of lingering slowly in the air as it gets carried away with the wind. But you can see Fisker and LDB running towards the gate. You can quite easily catch up to them.
Yeah, I'll catch up with them, and I will explain what I believe has happened and everything. So yeah,
We do that as we're running. We're like, "Oh hey man, what the fuck's going? What are you doing here?"
yeah. I'll just kind of teleport down off of the building to run alongside LDB.
Yeah, no problem. You get close enough to the point where you can actually sort of teleport, and you dive off the roof and then disappear in like a flash of arcane energy, reappear skidding right next to LDB, and then just carry on keeping pace with him.
Cool. Glad to see you made it out of the city, okay, for starters. I take it you saw the black pillar that just emanated from the city?
Yeah, I saw the pillar. Didn't really think it was an issue until Visca was like, "The world's ending." I thought, Visca might know what he's talking about, so we better do something about that.
Yeah. So, you know my buddy Carlin, who I keep getting all the cool stuff from?
Oh yeah, nice ring.
It's under my gloves. It's under my gloves. Well, basically, he appeared, his shop appeared, Piggly and I went into it, and some sort of arcane standoff happened, and Carlin ended up booting Piggly out of it. When Piggly left, there was this kind of rift-esque thing, and there was like the shapes and like eyes and hands reaching through. Basically, what I just saw there with that fucking black pillar.
Some real ass fuckery.
Real ass fuckery is one word for it, buddy. Yeah. It doesn't look good, is what I'm going to say. Carlin said that there's something foul clinging to Piggly. Whether that means he can be saved, or that means it's a quid pro quo kind of deal, I don't know. However, right now, all I know for certain is that it looks as though Piggly has done something fucking sketch, because last time I spoke to him, he was so keen about getting to the Temple of Balance.
Interesting. Well, lucky me and Visco are going there now.
Me, you, and Visca.
Me, you, and Visca, and your ring. Let's go.
Visca's sort of keeping up alongside you. And yeah, where he was sweating before, he's now almost. It looks like someone's like poured a bucket of water on him. He's
Oh, bless him.
definitely he is shaken up to the extreme here because he's got the kind of fear in his face that you would only really get as a child being told scary stories of things you think is true that everyone knows is definitely not. And right now he is a very capable, very powerful monk priest who is running not only for his life, but for the lives of all the people in the city towards the center of the destruction, and also extremely scared with each step that you guys get closer and closer to it. Yeah, he's feeling a lot of fear. But the fact that you three are running together is the only thing that seems to be keeping him moving, because he's kind of in his head now. He just thinks, if I stop running now, I'm not going to start again.
Cool.
But you guys are bounding towards it. Yeah, funnily enough, as you approach the gate, we'll say a bit of time has passed, but as you approach the gate, there's no one manning it. All the guards have ran into the city now. And it's just chaos, basically, with everyone, all the nobles from inside the city are now ironically running outside of the city walls to try and find safety, those that are close to the city walls anyway. And the common folk are also just running backwards. It's very much like you guys are running through a sea of people.
Like against the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
Seemingly
the only ones to be doing that. Piggly, we'll cut back to you. As we just did the mid-season finale, we're now going for the final episode here. You are now stood. You crash through the wall, looking like something out of a fucking horror movie. As you crash through, head covered in very thick black hair, face pale white, eyes sunken, basically. And you stand now facing off in your hand with some kind of obsidian gem, facing off against a whole host of guards as they're all sort of raising their spears tentatively towards you, with their shields in front. It doesn't look like they're quite advancing yet because they don't know what the fuck you are and what's happened, but they're cornering you in this section.
So they're in like a semicircle around me.
They're making their way into that formation. Yeah.
How many rows?
How many
rows of people?
How many rows of people? You've probably got about 3 rows of guards here.
With more piling down the stairs.
Oh, they're coming.
Doesn't look like there's anyone at the stairs behind them.
I'm going to run as close as I can to the people aimed towards the stairs, and I'm going to use Celestial Revelation.
You're going to use what?
What the fuck is
Where my
that?
wings come when I
What?
fight with people. They need to succeed a charisma saving throw.
Okay. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll roll 1 dice for all of them, basically. So, what's the save DC on that?
I'll tell you after you roll.
So, on the dice, I rolled an 8.
Need to succeed 13.
Well, luckily, they've all got plus 20 to their wisdom saves, so that adds.
Especially this one guard named Chad.
He's a really
Goliath.
good guy.
Yeah, you sort of dash forward now with the gem in your hand, and as you run forward, you activate you unfurl your wings, basically. Instead of coming out from your back, they kind of unfurl from your rib cage outwards. And as they do, for some reason, when you've got this gem in your hand, your abilities seem to be a bit more heightened or enhanced. And as you unfurl the wings, instead of just one set, you have the one coming off your back, another set coming off your sort of lower back as well. You've got 4 sets of wings now that are appearing out. And as you do, it seems like there is just heaps of sort of black smoke coming off you, and you appear basically to these guards like a nightmare, as they're all sort of too stunned to do anything at the moment. But they are all holding formation here, albeit as you sort of step closer, they seem to be moving further and further back.
Can I try and run straight past them? Straight through them?
I mean, you could.
Oh, they're
You
frightened.
You could, but they're not. It doesn't look like they're going to break formation. They're too scared to do anything other than move away from you currently.
I'll keep running at them as they're moving away.
Okay, yeah. As you're running towards them, you watch as instead of it being like a perfect sort of semicircle, they just start to sort of break out and eventually just let you pass through, basically. But they're now covering your retreat, and they seem to be following you up the stairs as you're making your way up. If that's what you were going to do, anyway.
Going to run up the stairs, and I'm going to cast Flaming Sphere directly on the stairs behind me.
Okay.
I'm
you
going
don't
to
even
commit
look-
great war crimes.
I'm
You don't
going to
even
commit
look
great war
behind
crime.
you, to see what happens, but yeah, needless to say, you cast the flaming sphere, you hear screaming, and that's as much as you hear. But yeah, the only as you sort of clear, you cast the spell, you hear the screaming, you carry on running with your wings sort of out and this aura around you. But as soon as you get up the steps, you turn and see an entire, almost garrison of guards looking at you through the hall of the Temple of Balance.
So that would be. Ethan's first second. So that'd be. 3. So that'd be 6. Oh, fuck it. I'll cast Magic Missile at 4th level, so that's 6 missiles at the Dolan Var.
God damn. Okay.
I'm gonna gamble this shit.
I could have expected gambling, to be fair. Okay. There's way too many people here to target individually, so I'll say if you aiming all of them into the Dolan Var, go ahead and give me some d6s for each of those.
3, 5, 4, 6, 1, and 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. While you've got the gem in the hand and you cast this spell, the magic missile, all of the individual darts seem to coalesce into the Dolan Var. Go ahead and just roll a single D100.
Nine.
You die. Please turn into a fucking plant pot now.
Nine.
Please turn into a plant pot now.
No.
Can you imagine?
Become blue.
You, as you cast the magic in the Dolan Var, it immediately just turns black. It looks like the magic that you've cast in there seems to fizzle out. The crystal in your hand starts to sink into your skin, and you watch as it starts to slowly grow all over your body, all over your
I'm
arms.
Venom. Yes.
And it seems to take over and solidify over your whole body. And as you do, you look down and you see a huge scythe in your hands.
Oh.
And the Dolan Var seems to be sort of rotating slowly above you. And what you do next, you have no control over. Your body seems to move separately to you, and you watch as you swipe this scythe across this room full of guards, and the first maybe 10 of those guards in the room with you seem to immediately just crumble to dust. And then you swipe it again, another 10 to dust. And
Jesus
then again,
Christ. Actual
then
war
again.
crimes, what the fuck?
and then
War
again.
crime.
And you watch as you do this, you watch as the crystal slowly starts to come off you back into your hand, and it solidifies as a normal crystal again in your hand. and as you've probably killed now about 30 guards, and another 40 guards break in through the door
Wait.
behind you. The only thing you can see is the collapsed roof above you. Everywhere else is just surrounding you with guards.
I still stood at the back of the room.
Yeah. Basically, you made it to like the central altar area.
The temple was already a bit collapsed, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, it's
Was
pretty
any of the
collapsed
roof
now.
already collapsed?
The roof is already collapsed. There basically it's just the night sky now that's streaming in through the cracks in the roof, occasional bits of moonlight, and there's obviously the way that you came in as well.
I'm gonna run to an area where the roof has already collapsed towards where I'd came in, and I'm gonna cast Firebolt straight at the roof.
At the roof. Okay.
Because it wasn't destroyed enough.
You can do that for sure. You won't need to roll to hit because it's not like a moving person. So, just roll the damage.
15.
15. Okay. So just so I understand this correctly, you're trying to collapse part of the roof on these guards, and
I'm trying to
then
collapse the whole roof on these guards.
okay, interesting.
That's why I'm moving to an area where the roof is already collapsed.
Fair enough. Yeah, you go ahead and fire the bolts into there. The roof is already collapsed and it's pretty like loosely held together. So as you're firing, well, as you let loose the fireballs, basically, it does start to crumble. Bits of the roof are now falling, but this is a very old and secure structure. So unless you've got like a 9th level spell, you're probably not going to be able to break down the entire roof. Not while all these guards are sort of swarming you. But parts of the roof do fall, and guards underneath get crushed from just the falling debris. Some of them manage to move out of the way, but most of them do get crushed by it, raising your total kill count probably to about 35, maybe 40, something like that.
Well, the last episode we went from, oh yeah, Dad disabled the guy, to yeah, we're killing everyone now.
Yeah.
No. We aren't. We aren't.
Yeah, you are quickly running out of time though, as these guards do seem to be swarming you. But you do know that the crystal in your hand does seem to heighten your magical abilities. So far, you've cast tried to cast into the Dolanvar, which seems to have some strange synergy with the crystal, and it allowed you to effectively just reap these people. You cast the fireball, the fireball, and it, instead of being a fireball, it turned into almost like a continuous beam of fire, which you used to break the wall in the mural section, and then also crumble part of the roof. And then you also unfurled your wings, which are currently still unfurled. It's giving you an extra set of wings while you had the gem in your hand.
This guy's crazy. This guy's fucking crazy.
There's a lot of dead people, is what you said.
Fucking
no, there are some that are crushed under the roof. The ones that were hit by the scythe are just crumbled to dust.
Is there anyone that can be, I don't know, maybe animated?
Not with the time that you have, no.
Fuck.
If there wasn't like an entire audience hall full of guards, probably you could do that. But yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna give you enough time to do that. Some of these guards are gonna.
Spell slots on fucking Misty Step anymore.
You don't have any spell slots for Misty Step.
No, I ran out ages ago.
He's been burning his spell slots like no.
I ran out on Misty Step when I first dropped into the fucking place. when I teleported away from the fucking suction.
Nice save there. Nice save.
I'm gonna use firebolt at the wall directly behind me where I came in to try and break the wall to.
Yeah, roll the damage. Yeah.
11.
11. It won't destroy the wall. It creates enough of like a hole in the wall that's already sort of crumbling slightly for you to be able to slip through if you dashed pretty quickly.
I'm gonna dive through it.
Okay.
Fucking dolphin dive.
Just give me, just so I know how to envision this. Give me a athletics check. No, acrobatics. Sorry.
9.
9. Yeah. You do genuinely dive through it, and you do take like some scrapes as you sort of collide against a brick wall, and you dive straight through the wall. So you do take a little bit of damage from actually diving through the wall. So in fact, let me just roll that.
How many HP is this fucking guy on, no? 1?
You would take. Would this be slashing or bludgeoning? We'll say slashing. Yeah, you take 7 points of slashing damage. But you are now outside of the temple, and you watch as the soldiers inside are now bashing their shields and their spears against the wall to try and break it down.
I'll book it.
Yeah.
Again?
You start running, and well, you're at the back of the temple now, so not many guards there. Yeah, you could abscond into the surrounding area. Just go ahead, give me an athletics check.
16.
16. Okay. We'll say you can run consistently, continuously at a very high speed for about 16 minutes, which will be enough for the guards for you to lose the guards, basically. But you're very quickly running out of options. No guards are on you at the moment. You've killed 40 people thus far. Maybe a little bit more with the dudes who are buried under a fucking flaming ball of fire. And currently, you watch as soon as you dive out of the temple, the entire building starts to sort of shake, and bits of the wall actually just do go. As the entire area, you ran for about 16 minutes, and you turn around and you still see some loose sort of brickwork and cobblestone on the ground. It all just sort of implodes inwards and just goes, collapses in on itself. The Temple of Balance, no more. The whole thing has collapsed into like a pit of just rubble and bodies.
Daddy will be very happy.
He will be. He will definitely be.
Fiscal fucking won't be.
As you're
Fuck Fiscal.
as you're running straight through the streets, basically, you start to see several doors appear on the walls around you, almost trying to keep up with you as you're running, and they look very familiar.
That cunt.
He is, from what you can gather, he is effectively chasing you with.
Stay away from that fuck.
And you start diving. You start diving around sort of walls, but before you know it, basically you've effectively run into a dead end alleyway, and you watch as a door opens on the opposite end, and a beam of arcane energy basically just shoots towards you, and you disappear from the ground, and you reappear 1,000 feet in the air
Oh.
above the city of Demetriel,
Shit.
and you are falling fast.
Shoot the one with our eyes up.
I fucking love Carlin, man.
And that
It's my highest level spell.
is where we're going to end the session tonight, boys.
I'm gonna have to dull and bar this next week. Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell.